This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
Everyone knows Steve Jobs as the genius who gave us the iPhone, but few people know the full story. Not the polished speeches or the sleek product launches, but the chaos behind the curtain, the betrayals, the spiritual crisis, the exile from his own company, and the loneliness that shaped his most powerful ideas. This is not the Steve Jobs the world celebrates. This is the story they never tell. Steve Jobs was born in 1955 in San Francisco. His biological parents gave him up for adoption at birth. He grew up feeling rejected, a child who didn't quite belong. His adoptive father, Paul Jobs, was a mechanic. From him, Steve learned how to work with his hands, but his mind was elsewhere. In school, he was a misfit, brilliant, but rebellious. Teachers called him difficult. As a teenager, he experimented with LSD and developed a fascination with Buddhism and Zen. He would later say, "Taking LSD was one of the 2 or 3 most important things I've done in my life." At 19, he dropped out of college, not because he didn't care, but because he refused to waste time on things he didn't believe in. He started auditing classes, like calligraphy, that would later influence the design of the first Macintosh. In 1976, Jobs and his friend Steve Wozniak started building computers in a garage. That garage would become Apple Computer. Their first machine, the Apple I, was crude, but it worked. Jobs wasn't the engineer, he was the visionary, the storyteller, the one who believed technology could be beautiful and personal. Within a few years, Apple became a household name. By 1980, the company went public. Jobs was 25 years old and already worth over $100 million. But with success came ego. He became increasingly demanding, controlling, and emotionally volatile. Still, he pushed Apple forward with the Macintosh, a computer with a graphical interface and a mouse. It was revolutionary, but behind the scenes trouble was growing. Steve Jobs had a dark side. He was known to yell at employees, humiliate people in meetings, and fire workers without warning. He once parked in handicapped spaces just because he could. He was also secretive and often manipulative. He believed rules didn't apply to him. During the early years of Apple, his then-girlfriend gave birth to a daughter, Lisa. Jobs denied paternity, claimed he was sterile, and abandoned them. Ironically, he would name one of Apple's first computers, Lisa. His obsession with perfection, combined with his erratic behavior, began to alienate the very people who built the company with him. One Apple executive later said, "Working with Steve was like riding a roller coaster blindfolded. You didn't know whether you'd get genius or cruelty." In 1985, just 9 years after co-founding Apple, Steve Jobs was forced out. The company he helped create no longer wanted him. He was betrayed by the board of directors and the CEO he had personally recruited, John Sculley. For Jobs, this was devastation. He was 30 years old, humiliated, and jobless. But instead of giving up, he went back to what he loved, building. He started Next, a new computer company focused on high-end machines for education. The computers flopped commercially, but their software would one day become the heart of MacOS. During his time away from Apple, Jobs changed. He traveled, meditated, read spiritual texts, practiced veganism. He became quieter, more thoughtful, but still driven. Round the same time, he bought a small animation studio from George Lucas. That studio was Pixar. With Jobs' funding and belief in innovation, Pixar produced the world's first fully computer-animated feature film, Toy Story. The film was a massive success. Enter Jobs. Pixar became a storytelling giant, delivering emotional, human films made with cutting-edge technology. He said, "Technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with the humanities that yields us the results that make our hearts sing." In 1997, Apple was in crisis. Sales were down. The company was dying. In desperation, Apple bought Next, and with it, brought Steve Jobs back. He returned with fire in his eyes. He cut unnecessary products, laid off thousands, and rebuilt the company around one word: simplicity. First came the iMac, colorful, fun, and user-friendly. Then came iTunes, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, Each product redefined its category. Jobs had become not just a CEO, but a cultural icon, a man who made technology feel like magic. In 2003, Jobs was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. He resisted conventional treatment, hoping for a natural cure. By the time he agreed to surgery, it was too late. He fought the disease for 8 years. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs died at the age of 56. His final words, spoken softly to his family, were, "Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow." Today, his fingerprints are on nearly every screen in the world. But perhaps more importantly, his story is a lesson that failure is not the end, that rejection can be a gift, that one man with vision and enough belief in himself really can change the world. As his own ad once said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels," because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.